for my aloe vera.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I think it'll take a little while.
Yeah.
It'll go on.
It's
Okay.
hurting you, isn't
Yeah,
it?
ready?
It's hurting me here,
All
my
speed when you're ready.
forehead. Just kind of gone
Give me
numb.
your hand.
Your
Deep
point.
breaths.
Speed. Okay, we're all ready.
Okay. Well, we'll do a little afterwards.
Right.
You'll be okay, but you should probably try to get in some ice water soon.
Maybe you guys are-
Thank you, doctor.
You're welcome. It's my specialty.
Sharon, let's just talk about your attraction in the role and how it was that you became involved in the first place.
Well, I was sent the script by my agents, and it was yet another action movie, and although the script is obviously fabulous, I'd done so much action stuff in the past that I wasn't all consumed by the idea. Then it was put to me that Paul Verhoeven was going to be the director. And I said, well, whatever happens, I have to go meet this guy because I admire him so much. He's so talented. Before RoboCop, he did all these wonderful Dutch films. So I went in. Also, there was a copy. You know, they send you a little two-liner about what the character is. Amazonian beauty. And I thought, well, at last I don't have to try to be petite. I could be big, which is fun. And so I went in kind of big, I could feel like I could be bold, where a lot of times I felt like I had to hold myself down because I didn't want to overwhelm the actor or the people in the room, because I have kind of I don't know, I'm sort of a full tilt boogie kind of person, you know. So I went in, I met Paul, and he was very, very almost embracive of my spirit, and his spirit was so full of fun and excitement and enthusiasm that we kind of met in that level. And after I met and talked to him, and I met and talked that day with the casting director, who I also thought was a great guy, they asked me if I'd come back and audition, and I did. And when I came back to audition, you've seen the movie, then you know that it's a very physical part. Well, it was set up a very standard way like this, where there's a chair and where there's a camera, and you kind of sit still and do the scene. But as you'll know when you see the movie, my character never sits still. She's just moving. And so I walked in, I sat down, I went, suddenly I had this like sinking feeling, and I thought, oh, this is this horrible thing all over again, this horrible Hollywood conveyor belt. I just can't sit in the chair and do this. And I said, I just looked at him, I said, I'm sorry, I just can't do the audition. He looked at me and said, well, what do you need? I said, well, you know, this character is so physical and there's no room in here, and he said, well, let's make some room. And he opened the door and he kicked the furniture out into the hall. And I said, I don't want to have to sit still. And he took the camera off the tripod. He said, let's go. Put the camera on his shoulder. We crawled around on the floor. We ran around in the room. I'd be in the middle of a scene, and I'd turn to do something. I'd say, you know, the punchline isn't working. And he'd say, well, what do you want to have happen? I'd say, well, I feel like there should be a beat. I should deliver the punchline and people should laugh. And he said, well, what you need to do then is take a step to create the beat. So do that, turn around, take the step. So I did it, I turned around, I took the step. Sure enough, everybody in the room started to laugh, and I thought, this is the man I've been waiting for. This is the man that can help me, that can explain my craft to me, that can take me another step. And I was so relieved that suddenly this gift had been given to me, that there was a person that was there and really willing to help and guide me as an actor. We had that thing, and that was it.
Did you also feel, once you were finished, that, you know, there's something magical about the audition in itself, and if I don't get this part, there's something wrong here? I mean...
Well, I have stopped, or have really tried to stop, doing the audition with any other intention than experiencing the audition itself. What comes next has got to be what comes next. So no, I left the audition thinking, I have just learned so much. I have just grown so much as an actor. What a great experience.
So it's just like a lesson.
It was just another lesson, and I went home. So when they called and told me that I also was going to get to do some more of it, I couldn't believe it. Thrilled.
Now, in doing it and in the training,
Yeah.
we're talking about that fight scene. I gotta say, is amazing in that I didn't find anything sexist about it at all. And often
With Arnold or with Rachel?
No, with Rachel,
mhm.
because often some scenes set up between women, directed by a man especially. You know,
It's
you're
kind of a
wading in the
weird
water.
perspective.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
it is. But it could also take on. It could be almost. It could be extremely sexist. Let's try and
Yeah.
put a little bit of TNA into this.
Right.
But I found it just like out and out. What was that
It was
like?
fierce.
Yeah.
Well, you know, we both trained and studied karate, and I lifted weights because, you know, I have to lift Rachel and throw her around a lot. And though she's light and, you know, very, very graceful, it's a lot to pick a woman up and throw her around all day. I'm sure you know what I mean. So I had to really be focused. I had to be very prepared. And no, I don't think it was sexist at all. I think it was real. I think if you were in a situation where you were fighting for your life, that's how you'd fight. You wouldn't fool around. You wouldn't go, just get away from me. You know, it's silly. We didn't have those dynasty outfits and do all that weird stuff. We were people. Before we were women, we were people, which I think is something that's new in films, where women are playing people first. And that's very exciting and kind of a relief for me, who's played the arm piece so many times.
That's true. The role of women is starting to change, even more so. It's becoming more evident now with some female directors. I'm thinking of
yeah.
Sandra Locke in particular, and
Right.
Teresa Russell and the Blue
Right.
Steel Gang.
Right.
That's the stuff. I mean, does that bode well for you? Do you think this is an exciting time for you to be an up-and-coming actress and I guess I would think maybe someday filmmaker yourself? I mean,
Well, I feel so blessed that I can do what I do. And many times along the path, and it's been maybe 10 years for me, I've often wondered and looked inside as why is it taking so long? Why am I struggling? And now as I've reached a certain crest in the wave, I can look back and see, well, I had to learn that, and then I had to learn that, and then this. So now that I've reached this point at this time, I feel really lucky. I feel like I'm right on time.
great. And they're giving me the wrap. We're finished already.
Thank you.
Great. Best of luck, too.
Thanks.
Nice meeting you.